Morning, students. Today we are going to see how to select appropriate journal. Previous lecture, we have seen how your journal to be applied. This was the basic thing we have seen in the last video. Now we are going to see how to select appropriate journal. Selection of journal is a very important thing. Okay. Now, when I take one journal, Arabian journal, how to select? I'll just take one journal, Arabian Journal of Science and Engineering. Now, I have a paper done in deep learning, image processing. Then I have a paper, related with autism child. Now, think that this is the situation. This is the key areas of that particular article. Now, when you want to see this journal, in which journal you want to apply, before applying this, the very main thing which you have to see is that you have to go to that journal. And you have to go to the aim and scope. This is a very important thing. See, you can see this in the aim and scope. They say that engineering, they are trying to have all disciplinary. It's a multidisciplinary journal. And if you go for the targeted journal, for example, my work is on deep learning, image processing, autism. If you go to the journal like autism, there are some journals like autism journals. Autism journals. Now, my selection will be very tough because when you go for Journal of Autism and Development Disorder Springer, the evaluation process will be very tough and there will be core in that area. Now, when you apply the paper, my article paper is the deep learning based autism children behavior classification. Now I can apply in this journal, actually in this journal. The thing is that, when you talk about this particular journal, autism development disorder, now it is called core area journal. They call this as core area journal. This is a core, this particular journal is a core area. Core area. A core area journal. Okay, when you say that core area journal, the people who are already seen thousands of paper in autism, they will review the paper. So if you want to apply a paper, okay, when you want to know what is your strength and weakness, it is called, the strength and weakness of your paper. What is your strength and what is your weakness of your paper? Okay, what I can do, I can just apply to the core area. Okay, if you have time, for example, if I join my PhD, now I am in the second semester, first semester, I am going to write it within 6 months, a good paper. Now, this paper, I want to check what is my strength and weakness. So what I can do, I can apply in core area journals. When you apply in core area journals, you will get immediately a reply that whether your topic is novel, whether it can able to beat out with the already thousands of people there, as a reviewer in this particular journal who've seen thousands of paper in autism. Okay, they can see the title, they can give immediately a suggestion that it suits for the publication. It means that you are clearing your first stage, or otherwise there will be some feedback. This will really help you to tune your work, because ultimately you are going to publish your journal, you publish your work in a journal. Journal reviewers has to say that this paper is having some work to publish. Not that they're discussing with your DC members or your friends or something like that circle. No, it's not like that. So you have to be very clear that this can be obtained very directly from the people who are in the core area of autism. We cannot identify a person who is working in a core area. For example, if I do it in cloud, I cannot go and see a very good cloud engineer, especially for load management. For example, the problem is load management. I cannot able to get it. So that will be a very big problem. That will be a very big problem in order to get into this correct person to give the correct suggestion about your article. So this is one more tricks we follow. Normally what we do, we try to put it in high impact factor journal, or I try to put it in the core area. This is called core area. Okay, core journals. Okay, core area or core journals. Now technically calling this as core journals, not the core area. Exactly speaking, in the academic way of word to the contest is called core journals. What do you mean core journals? Because I do research in autism, I do in behavior analysis with autism, I use image processing, I identify some disease behaviors. Through the behavior, I try to identify some diseases from problems, whatever it may be. Now that is the core area. Now, if you are applying core area, you can able to see a very good feedback. Okay, the feedback is only to to make your work to be tuned. That is very important. Now, when you get this cleared, for example, if your paper is reaching out, you can get an effective suggestions. You can improve. If you don't have novelty, that also will be reflected. That also you can get it from them. So this is a very good experience to see the gaps in our research article. So once you see this, you correct it, then you can go and put it in the journal like, okay, overlapping area journals. Now this Arabian journal is the overlapping area. This Arabian journal is overlapping area. Why do I call it as overlapping? It is not with the core. It's an overlapping journals. It is called overlapping journals. Overlapping according to the keywords or according to your what I can say, your scope, overlapping scopes. Overlapping scopes with journal, because here they say generally that not the autism, anything is related to computer science, anything related to electrical. No, they'll have a reviewers who are not more specialized in autism, and that is what the reason you call it as overlapping journals. Now when you apply to this journal, okay, you have a more possibility of getting your paper to be accepted because already your paper has been gone through with the very high core area where you got feedback, you tuned it, then you have to apply. And by this way, if you apply, you will get it immediately. Okay, this is a very important aspect you have to follow. But what the people after joining the PhD, what they think is that, okay, after completing my coursework, I'll do. No, I don't have time. Keep on postponing. See, here you have a lengthy process to evaluate your thinking, your outcome, and your presentation. Everything can be reviewed in this way. So, if at all you want to make your paper to be accepted, okay, you have to go for overlapping areas. If at all you want to get your paper to be tuned, even overlapping area should not reject your paper, then you have to get into that core journal, you apply, get the feedback, tune it, then you apply overlapping. I think you can understand what I'm trying to say very clearly. Once again, I'll make it a very clear statement. Now, I want to make my work as a quality work. What I'll do, I'll just write my article. I'll just go to the core journals. I just apply with the core journals. I get the feedback. Sometimes the core journal says that your work is so good. Okay, well and good. And then they give some comments, correct it, you apply. If not so, you take those corrections. Now it is rejected, but they get the flaws. You can get the flaws from them, gaps where you missed out. Then you can put it in your revised journal, which has been already submitted to the core. You do it well. Then now this is eligible for get accepted in overlapping journals. And this is a very simple tricks you have to follow. And when you apply your overlapping journal, you just go to the scope and you see that they are not in the code. That is very important. And this is one point. And second, a very important point is that the very important point you have to see when you want to go for publication is that you want to go to the volumes and issues. Here you have a key points. You can see from this journal, the issues are regular. It means that you can see there's 71 articles in this issue. So they're accepting the major number of papers to be published. Okay. And it is monthly wise the papers are published. So you have a lot of chance to get your paper to be accepted. Okay. And that is a very important key here. Now, after that, you can just click these particular issues and you can check whether any sort of Indians are getting their papers being accepted in this particular journal. If that is the case, because some journal, if you go and put your paper, if your paper is so good and if you go to China, you try to publish unless otherwise, it is more than the standard. It is not normally, it is not allowed because they think that if I put an Indian paper in Chinese journal, they feel that, he is better. They are not up to the level. It shows like this. They'll be very keen on that. This is very common when you apply the papers to German. And if you want to apply some papers in Sweden, no, many papers they won't accept. At the most, some universities or some journals, they reject Indian papers because they know that India doesn't have more facility to do the research. So keeping on that, in that mind, they'll try to simply reject Chinese and German. Chinese will have facility, but Chinese won't do that. They don't have good English. They'll do all sort of copy paste and they'll do it. But Indian, they don't have facility, but still they'll do better. So when we select an idea in doing the research, now I cannot say that what is not available in India, I can use that and I can do that particular experiment. For example, I think that I want to do something with photonic sensors. I don't have facility to fabricate the photonic sensor. How can I do in India? I can go for only simulation. Then the paper will be rejected. So in turn, I can do one thing. I can buy a photonic sensor. I can do an application project where I can take the collect data and I can able to measure some heart rate or something like that. And then I can go for application wise doing a research. That will be more good. Okay, because certain experiments need high-end equipments. We don't have it. They know very well. And when you are submitting a paper, they will really see where you are affiliated from. And they'll see each author publication. Everything is very important. Not like that I can add 4 people I can do. You will see if they are also teachers. How do the teachers evaluate the paper? When a paper is given to them, they'll see the handwriting, they'll see the diagram, they'll see the 2 or 3 papers. If 2 or 3 papers are good, they understand that this paper is from a single school where students are good at academics. That way they'll have some opinion. Similarly here, when you submit a paper, they'll see the title, they'll see as we have seen in the previous classes, they'll see the abstract. Okay, obviously it is okay. At the same time, they'll see the author. If author is having more publication, they'll get a more, there is a more chance of acceptability in the particular journal. And that particular person should have more articles to be published. Already you should have more articles. And this is a very key point now, which we never concentrate on this publications. So when you apply, at the same time, there is a very big problem in India. You can see this. I'll just put it in a simple way. You can see this. You see all the papers. You can see all the papers. Minimum, if you go to see, you can see this Chinese author. Minimum 3 authors, maximum 4 authors will be there. But only in India, you can see this. Only one person will be doing this. They won't believe it. Okay, see, you can see this is one fellow. One fellow has done it. See, without anything, I have given very clearly it is Kerala. See, this is what they are doing it. They know very well how come a research can be done independently, because research is a very big thing. Actually, when you talk about abroad research, foreign research, how research is done in abroad, there will be one professor, below him there will be a postdoctoral fellowship person who is working for the project, then 2 or 3 PhDs, below him PhD, you will have MS. See, normally you will have 4 or 5 people in a project, and each will be working in different modules. And when a paper comes out, minimum 3% should be there, because the person who guides, who monitors, and the person who does minimum. But actually, we make it as 4 to 5. Even you can make it of 10 authors, no doubt. It shows that how the work is. See, for example, if you say in my project I have 10 people working, what is the meaning that it gives to you when you hear it? Oh, you think that is a very big project. Now, if I say I have a project, I am only doing it, then it shows that it's not a project, it is a hooked up one. So this is how people think. So by submitting a paper, they'll get the idea that whether this particular article is really done. They are the facility institution is having such facilities, not so. Or many people who are guiding this person, or 3 or 4% from other institutions, or the professor already as an author here, maybe 3rd author or 4th author, whatever it may be, he is having a lot of publications. So these are the key points you see. Say it has been seen by the reviewers, and it also seen by the editors. See, when you buy something, when you buy something, even for 100 rupees, you'll go for reviews in online shopping. So this is a journal, they want to make it very fast. They don't have time to read. So they will have a very short look on the paper and they'll come to a conclusion that this paper is more suitable for publication or not. So that parameter makes more rejections. To avoid that, these are the techniques you have to follow. So as I said, you have to see what is the volume. You have to see the number of frequencies, and it means that monthly they are publishing. Then you are going to see whether Indian papers are accepted. And you have to be very cautious that when you write a paper, minimum 3 or 4 people should be there in a paper, and the person 1 or 2 should have a very good publications in their profile, because they will see in the Google Scholar or Publon or what I can say, Scopus. Okay, because nowadays Springer shows very clearly when an author applies, automatically his profile is also attached in the hyperlink, and they can able to get the information of the author. That is very important part. So making this very clear before applying. So you have to have your overlapping area to be selected. Then you have to see volumes are there. If more number of volume, you can select the journal. If more issues are there in each month, more issues are come, then you can prefer. And a very important thing is that, okay, very, very important thing is that that particular journal, okay, should have your scope, overlapping scope. That is very important. Okay, then very important thing is that how to tune your paper. Now here goes your polishing of the journal. When you go for this particular journal, you can see, just simply see this output of this journal. You can see how the author would have accepted this journal. Now I'll just make it a very few old version, because I may get it from the other part of the sources. Now I'll take January issue. See, when I go for January, 71 articles are published. Now, if I go for this particular journal, I'm just going to see download PDF. Now I'm just going to see the download of PDF. Now I want to see this, how the paper is written. Now I can able to see very clearly from this, you can see this, I know it is done by a professor in VIT. Okay. And now what is that they are going to see is that civil engineering. She is from civil engineering. She has only done this project. Now see, the diagrams are more beautiful. They have gone with the methodology and results and discussion. You can see these diagrams are so good. So author is expecting new pure and neat diagrams. And you can see he's expecting something in tabular column. See how you can get the idea of the reviewer's mood for accepting the paper. Of course, if you would have worked in any, if you have studied in any autonomous institutions, there are 5 subjects or 6 subjects in the semester. Each professors will have their own idea of evaluation. Some professor, he'll be very much interested. What he taught, it is there in the answer book, he'll give the mark. Some professor, what he taught, beyond that you bring it, and they think that you have extended your academics beyond the classroom, so they give more marks. So it depends upon the person to person. So I cannot able to change this individual views in my journal. That is what I'm trying to say. What the particular journal is already accepted, you just see the diagrams, the flow, you see how they do it. If you see continuously 10 papers, you can able to get very clearly an idea. No, so this paper, these people are expecting more tables. These people are expecting more diagrams. These people are looking for the neat diagram. So you'll get an idea. Then after seeing 10 papers from this journal, then you can shift on to your journal, and you can see what is the drawbacks. If you keep on see this 10 times, 20 times, automatically your paper will be tuned. Then it will be going for the review. It will be accepted very easily. This is a very simple technique which you have to be followed. Even the diagrams, you see the diagrams, how they are doing it. You can see when you take number of papers. So now I have taken this paper. Now I'll go for one more paper. You can see this. Now I'll take this article. It is not an open access journal because they are ready to open access. And a very important thing, when you want to get your paper to be published very quickly, you can click for open access. You can apply for open access. Of course, when you apply for open access, it will go for 1.5 lakhs, or sometimes you can get an APC charge. It is called article processing charge. Will be more than 1.5 lakhs to 1 lakh, something like that. But don't worry, when you are applying it, after getting your paper accepted, we can have a waiver letter. You can apply with the waiver letter, and you will get the concession 50%, 30%, okay, whatever it may be. And if you want to get your paper to be accepted very quickly, you can just keep your APC, article processing charge, is accepted when you're submitting a journal. And that will be very useful to make the rapid, what I can say, rapid evaluation and easy acceptance. And after getting your acceptance, you can ask for waiver. That is different part, because that has been done by the editor. This has been done by the production unit. See, there are two units, production unit and their quality unit. Production unit, they'll have the people, they take the digital printouts and they do it. They are the responsible because there will be an editorial manager who looks into these account aspects, whereas researcher will not look into this. So there will be a big gap. Don't worry that when you apply, you applied it APC. But after applying now, you can say, now I don't have financial status because you would have come about 3 months, 4 months of review, and then it comes for acceptance. By the time you can say, when I was applying, I was very financially sound. Now, because of certain reasons, I am lost of money. So can you help me? That way you can write a letter very politely, then you'll get a concession. And this is how you can make your research more effective for publishing the journal. I think what are the things I decided to convey, I think I have conveyed it. And a very important thing is that, even graphs, you can see the axis of the graphs. If you want to be more particular in this journal, you see, if at all you want to apply for wireless communication, you just take all wireless communication paper. So you see how the graphs are there, or how much they are size they are given in their papers. What is the parameter, XY parameter? Same parameter you have to try to put it in your paper. Don't copy that. You look at, you just have an idea. If you see 10 papers in the same particular journal in the same area, you can find out the key core of expectation of the particular journal, and that is to be kept in your mind, and then you can put it in your paper. Now, this process is called polishing of the journal. Okay, anyway, I think I have given all my experience to you in this class, and probably next class, we'll be trying to see something about how to see the writing style in each journal. Thank you very much.